Thank you once again for coming here after I fucked it up with you.
It's okay. It's my pleasure to see you again. It's great to talk to you one more time. We might talk about the same thing, but I'll try to spice it up for you.
So I'll repeat what I said on the beginning of the interview. Thank you so much for coming. You're incredible. I love you so much, and you changed my life. Everything that I said yesterday to you. Saying once again, just to
just to put me in the mood. Thank you very much. Very kind words, and we're very happy as a band that we can have that effect on people. So it's thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Starting to talk about the new era that we are about to begin. Okay, you released the Antidote song, that it's the first single of that new album, and the first thing I want to know about the Antidote, how the song was born.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think I have to point out that most of the record, basically the whole record was written 2018, 2019. So it feels like, because we're about to release it now, it feels like we did everything during the pandemic, but that's not the case. Actually, we had our last recording session for the album January 2020. And then we were already mixing it in February, right before the pandemic hit. So Antidote was written in 2019. And, like some songs start with a guitar riff, some songs start with a hook, some songs start with a lyric, and then you have to figure out what it means. This song came about with just the concept of the antidote that was written on the board. And Chuck and Pierre were like, this could be something. And I think Pierre grabbed a guitar and just had the very end of the chorus that goes, "You're the antidote." So he only had that part. It's like, okay, so they started building the song around that. And that's how that song came about. And of course, as soon as the demo was made, we all agreed that, okay, this is one of the songs that we're keeping. And then as the album progressed and as we got the mixes back, we realized it was a strong contender to be the first release, and that's what it ended up being.
This will probably be on Wikipedia tomorrow. Because that's something that we cannot have out of Wikipedia. Talking about the song, this one was one of the first songs that you made for the album, or maybe one of the last ones?
This one kind of ended up somewhere in the middle, I think. I'm very, very sorry. It's hard to talk about the album because it's not released yet, and there's probably some stuff that we're keeping to ourselves right now, and that we're going to reveal as the weeks go by, like either song titles, other releases, eventually the album title, blah blah, all of that is coming. This one, I would say, out of the number of songs that are on the album, this one is somewhere in the middle, I think. Right. Yes. Yeah.
All right, gotcha. And talking about the album, of course, I'll have to ask that once again. The album is following this new sound, not the new sound, okay? It's the sound that you've been a little, how can I say, away for a while. It's very the beginning of the band, very, very 2004's influence,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, there's, on every single album that we've made, there's always been the Simple Plan sound, like however you're trying to describe that. I think a lot of people reference the first two albums a lot because they came out at a very important period in their lives, and they're trying to find that emotion again. And I respect that. I feel that way about a lot of bands, I mean, oh man, I wish they made an album like that. But also that album exists. So if I want to listen to that, I can go back to that. Having said that, the energy that came with, let's say, Still Not Getting Any. When we recorded that album, we were very conscious, we did no pads. It was a great album for us. It was amazing. We had a great time in the studio. But we hadn't really toured as a band, at that point. We had played some shows, but never really toured. And then so when it was time to make Still Not Getting Any, it was very important for us to bring that energy onto the album. And I believe we had that in mind when we started recording this newest album. We wanted that energy. We wanted that feel. We wanted the drums and the guitars to be very present. And kind of coincidentally, pop punk influences are coming back into the pop world these days. You know, there's artists like Machine Gun Kelly and Olivia Rodrigo and a lot more that are just like using their pop punk influences and fusing it with their sounds. You know, there was a period in the radio or the mainstream or the top 40 world where if you wanted to be a pop act, you were incorporating some DJ influences, you know. Yeah. And nowadays it seems that if, you know, pop acts incorporate a lot of pop punk stuff, and that so happens to be that's what we love to play and that's what we're known for, and we very much enjoy listening to that type of music. So I would say, like, I mean, it's interesting to call this a throwback, you know, but there's definitely a lot of the first, second album influences that, you know, are just part of the Simple Plan DNA.
When I heard the Antidote for the first time, I really felt that this song was a welcome to my life-ish thing coming out again. I felt this way. It's something that the song made us feel this way. I'm not the only fan who felt this way.
I agree with that.
A lot of fans say that. You posted on the Instagram page asking for the people to, you know, say how they feel about the song, if they enjoy it. Everybody was saying something like this. You have this nostalgic thing that this song have. It's completely different from all the first singles that you released on the last two albums. That's something that I felt this time that I think that makes the song so important for me. It really make me, okay, wait a minute, this is something that I'm feeling that I haven't felt for a while. So I think that this is why the song was so loved at the first listen for a lot of new people. The youngest people are coming to your channels, are coming to your Instagram pages and start to interact with you, that they actually started to follow you now because of the song. And these people are, you know, complete from another era, another generation that you never impact before. And you said Machine Gun Kelly, Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia Rodrigo, it's a very good example from a brand new pop act that is debuting, that had a #1 song, that is a pop punk song in a long time. You know, so I think that the people will enjoy a lot to see you this time on this generation sing this type of song, and they will search for the past things and they will say, oh, wait a minute, they are not starting this.
Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. And something that has happened that was absolutely out of our hands and completely mind-blowing is the success that I'm Just a Kid had on TikTok. And TikTok as a platform is very supportive of pop punk. A lot of trending sounds are in that genre. A lot of people make great montages or great TikToks using, you know, like whether it's old songs, newer songs, you know, like there's a lot of bands that had this small resurgence, you know, and then I'm Just a Kid challenge, just like, it was completely mental. And then at that point we had no choice but to show up on TikTok. You know, we weren't really ignoring it before. It was like, okay, it's just another platform that we have to take care of. But now that everything blew up, and we're trying to be more present on TikTok. And I think as to some people with the I'm Just a Kid band, so they know that 15 seconds of the song, and then they're like, oh, what are they doing now? And then they get into Antidote. And obviously we have our diehard fans that have been around for a long time and that know about the band and every single song and every single album.
I think I saw the I'm Just a Kid song really blowing up, but I also saw the Perfect, When I'm Gone, Your Love Is a Lie, a lot of your greatest songs blowing up. You're not the Just a Kid band. You should know. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's billions of streams for that particular one, so that's why I'm saying that. But I think even before TikTok, if I remember correctly, there was a bunch of people that were posting on YouTube, like random little videos of something going wrong, and then the audio was just like, how could this happen to me? And then it would fade to black, and that was that. So like, I mean, people have been enjoying, you know, using our hooks to have a good time, and that's basically what this band is all about, I guess.
But your hooks are freaking fantastic. You know, all the
Thank you.
singles has really good hooks. And still talking about these new influences, the pop scene, you know, Álbum. Still Untitled, because yesterday you said that the record was Untitled, and probably you're gonna get Untitled today. Did you get the title?
Yes. No. That the band call is in 2 hours. So.
Oh, so we still have 2 hours.
No, but you know what? The usually the album title is something that comes. We try to drag it out as long as we can, like, because there's no point getting all the artwork done and blah, blah, blah before the last minute, because if you get something started and it's like, oh no, you have a different idea, then you have to shift and go back to whatever you were doing. So I think a lot of decisions in the Simple Plan world are made very last minute, or as we stretch the deadline as much as we can, basically. So we still don't have an album title that we can reveal on this interview today. I'm terribly sorry to say.
Oh, no problem. That's so artistic. We're gonna be promoting this album completely different than everything that you did before, because the new movement of the world, we are not having the full album being heard, in a long time. People hear a lot of times in a small part of time, so they, you have to release a deluxe version, a platinum of the deluxe of the deluxe of the platinum, always with bonus tracks. How's for you to feel this on this moment? Because it's the first album that you'll be releasing on this type of era.
Yeah, last time we released an album was 5 years ago, and in 5 years, like, things have gone very different. It's pretty insane. When we released No Pads, we had cassettes made, and then obviously lots of CDs, and then the iTunes store was kind of starting. Then we went through a big wave of piracy, so a lot of people didn't buy albums for a bit, and then came the streaming. But the old school format of releasing for an album on a major label stayed the same. And now, nowadays, people have access to all the music all the time, immediately. So when an album comes out, you can't, you get it right away. It's there. And then after the first 2 days, if you haven't listened to it, then, you kind of already moved on to something else. You don't have to go to the store to get the CD to actually get in your car and finally listen to it, or put your headphones on when you have time. Everything's right there. So obviously, as you mentioned, the new way of releasing music is just like one song, second song, third song, and then the album. And I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna do it, so don't quote me on that it's gonna be 1 and 2 and 3 an album.
Don't worry.
So that's kind of the plan. So we've got a song out now. Probably we'll have other new music coming out before the full album drops, and at that point, it's gonna be very interesting, and where the first tour we're doing is going to be opening up for The Offspring in February in Canada here, and it's not going to be an album tour, so we're going to play like a few new songs that people know, and then obviously some of the songs that are expected of us when we go on tour. And it definitely is very different for us in the way we've been doing things before.
Gotcha. And I need to ask you that, and I forgot to ask yesterday. Thank God I can ask you this today. Will we have features on this album?
We are working on that as we speak. So the short answer is probably yes. So that's the short answer, and that's what I can tell you right now.
Okay.
It's fun.
A lot of people are trying to guess who you might be, because you followed some people on Instagram and they saw that, and I think because you followed, you might be collaborating. So this is how the people.
Interesting.
Oh, you didn't.
Give me your best guess. Give me your best guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, give me your best guess.
Okay. Avril Lavigne.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Probably Machine Gun Kelly. It's someone that I love, and I think that it's gonna be fit incredibly well with you. Probably Travis Barker on maybe a song production. I don't know. Maybe a remix. We don't know.
Okay.
He's doing very well on this scene right now. He's actually have his own label. Mod Sun, someone that I love. I think he's incredible. But I would love to see Simple Plan collaborating with some brand new people from the scene, like Maggie Linderman, and Lil Huddy is someone that I think that's gonna be amazing on your record. Yeah, you probably don't know them, but
it's all very interesting. I feel like if we could get all these people, it would be a smash. Okay.
The other thing that I want to know is actually, I didn't ask that yesterday. You are much more independent as artists today than you were before.
That is correct.
I mean, like, not only following what the label wants.
Well, it's very interesting because figuratively and literally, we've always been very much involved and in control. We've always had great partners within the label that we were with that understood the type of band that we are and that respected who we are, and that actually agreed that we knew how to manage ourselves, you know? So if I'm not mistaken, every single single, every single video shoot, marketing direction, album cover and all of that, anything you think that the label would be hammering you down on with, like, we've always collaborated and been in control. Nowadays, we're not on a major anymore. So like we're a lot more independent, but we've got great partners, and we're in a beautiful position where we have an amazing team around us, and we're like, I mean, the dynamic is the same. I mean, the involvement of the band is the same, but it's a little bit, actually, I would say a lot more work nowadays, that, you know, because we have to be fully invested and involved in every aspect of the marketing and the releases and the DSPs and the Spotifys and the platforms and all of that. And it's there's a lot to think of. You don't want anything to be falling through the cracks.
Gotcha. I think that's why it's probably your favorite album. A lot of fans has this concern that the label always had a lot of power into their artists, because we see that happening on the industry since we, you know, actually on the time that you were like maybe the second or third biggest pop punk act of 2000s. There's some idea that the label has a lot of this power into the artist, and it's great to know that you had this control of creating what you feel that's gonna be good for your music and also for your audience. This is something incredible to know.
Yeah, I think though a lot of those stories come from when you're a young band and you get signed. Usually you'll get not a great deal, and that's sort of how it is, because the label is taking all the risk, and then the band they're kind of crossing their fingers. I hope this works, right? And then if it does work, then the band usually turns around and says like, hey, we got a bad deal. But then the label's like, well, this is the deal that you signed. So, and you know, so there's a lot of, it's not always black and white. There's a lot of gray areas. But in our case, I mean, we've always been very much in control, and the labels always trusted our judgment and then just wanted to work with us. And we've had great relationships with most of the people that we work with. And if we didn't, then we just didn't work with them again. And I mean, yeah, so we've basically always had like, hey, this is our album. And then they're like, okay, sounds great, guys. That's amazing. When is it done? You know, and then we start talking about deadlines and like releases and marketing and all of that. So, I mean, yeah, very much in control.
Talking about the past now, actually about the Scooby-Doo that yesterday you said.
Yes.
Completely different thing. Tell me, how did you decide to get the Scooby-Doo team and put it on Spotify? What happened for you to, you know, get that?
I think it's just one of those things that actually unfortunately did fall through the cracks. We just realized, I think some people wanted to use the sound for TikToks and all that, and it just wasn't there, right? Or it was like a really badly recorded version of like a cover artist, or like a terrible audio, and we're like, wait, it's not available? So we had to do a little bit of digging, and then we ended up slamming it to all the streaming platforms to make sure that it was there. It just wasn't there, you know?
Gotcha. And you also recorded another songs for Scooby-Doo. Actually, you are the Scooby-Doo best team makers of all time. I think I said it yesterday and I repeat it. Grow Up, it's one of the greatest songs I've heard on a movie. And I think that it's like your brand. It's a brand. You said Scooby-Doo, Simple Plan.
Right, sure. I mean, if they made a new Scooby-Doo and they wanted to reach out and have us do the music for it, like, I mean, that'd be amazing. I think it'd be really cool. Yeah, I mean, back then, for us to have any type of opportunity to get people to hear our music was amazing. And when the studio called and said, like, hey, they needed a song to just put on the soundtrack, and then that song ended up being Grow Up, it was great. And when we did the Notepads anniversary tour, so it was 4 years ago, the 15-year anniversary tour, we just started playing that song live again. And what a fun song that was. Like, I agree with you, we had a lot of fun. And then after that came the request, like, hey, we've got this theme song, we'd love if you guys were the voice of the theme song. We're like, of course. And then we did that again. What a great opportunity. And we ended up being animated in one of the episodes, Simple Plan and the Invisible Madman. And then when the second movie came out, and then the second movie came out, and we have a song on the soundtrack, the lead single of the soundtrack, actually, Don't Want to Think About You. That's not really in the movie, but it's the single for the soundtrack. Anyways, and then the video was great because it was like an epic 24 TV show spoof that we loved at the time, and that we were just like running, and then we're running to get to the movie premiere. So it's kind of ties in with the movie. And I mean, if Warner Brothers calls and wants to be involved with us again, we're gonna take the call. It would be great.
Okay, so Warner Bros. Call them.
Yes, exactly.
Talking about touring right now, you said that you're going to tour, you're going to do a lot of things. Please come to Brazil. We need you.
We hear that a lot. Come to Brazil. Yes, of course.
You know that this is a meme, right? It's a meme.
Dude, there's many memes.
Yeah, but this one, it's like a meme from Brazilians to international acts.
We have a meme. Simple Plan has a meme for ourselves. That's just come to Brazil as well. Like, I don't know if you noticed on the live that we did a few days ago. We were doing the live, and then Pat, you remember Pat that used to be touring with us from 2001 to 2008. He jumps on the chat of the live, and first thing he writes is "Come to Brazil." I mean, he's from Montreal and he lives right around the corner here, but he still writes out "Come to Brazil." So yes, we are aware, and believe me, whenever we can, we'd love to be everywhere at the same time, have superpowers where we can just travel, and we'd love to be robots and be able to play 3-hour shows every single night of the week. And, you know, like that's what we would love. However, we are just regular humans with families, and you know, we need to work it out when it's time for touring. So of course we want to come back to Brazil, and of course, as soon as we know when we're coming, we will let you know so you can come see us. That is always our desire.
You know that do you remember when you performed at the Big Brothers Brazil?
Yes.
Right. That concert that you did, it's one of the most watched ones here.
I realized that last time we were in Brazil, someone said that, and I was like, really? I don't remember much from it. The only things I remember is that I was kind of nervous, and it was kind of weird. The whole setup, but I was just like, oh, like this feels weird, you know. Maybe I thought there were cameras everywhere filming me, and I was like, no, you know. But yeah, good stuff.
So the last thing I want to know, I want you to rank from your favorite to least favorite album.
Okay, we did that yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, and I think I'm gonna stick to the same order. I think I'm gonna stick to it. So my number one Simple Plan album is the new one that you haven't heard. And let me specify, if something is not first, if something ends up in the last position, it doesn't mean I hate it. It just means I prefer the other thing. I like tons of foods, but if you're telling me to pick my favorite, I can only pick one. That doesn't mean that number two is a food that is gonna make me everywhere, you know? Okay, so number one has to be the brand new one. I think it's a great album. I'm a big fan. It's got a lot of emo vibes that really
oh my god,
that really, they kind of just like grab me by the feels, and that is the type of music that makes me move nowadays, whether it's pop or folk or lo-fi or whatever I'm listening to. If it grabs you by the feels, then I'm enjoying it. So that's number one. Number two, I think I'm going with, still not getting any. There's just something about that album that I love.
The nostalgia feeling, of course.
The nostalgia feeling, of course. But then right number three, I'm gonna put Get Your Heart On, because that's just fun. I remember the tour for Get Your Heart On, and I know you and I talked about it yesterday, but that felt like such a great set list and such a great time on stage, and everybody was having fun. So that's number three.
That's why your fans are called the astronauts, because that song, it's freaking incredible.
That's right.
I said yesterday, and I'm gonna repeat. I think it's, I don't know if you consider that song a ballad, but
well, some people call it a power ballad. Some people say like it's just like a slower rock song. I mean, I don't know if it's a ballad, but I remember when I first heard it, it made me think and it made me feel the same things as when I heard Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins. So, because of the string build up at the end of the song and the way the chord structure is made, like there's something going on in that song. And I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorites as well. And then I think at number 4 is all the other ones in the same spot. All the other ones are tie at number 4 with No Pads, Self-Titled, and Taking One for the Team. That's number 4. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Nobody's in 5th place. Nobody's in 6th place. Nobody can call me out on that.
Do you have an album cover favorite of all time? I didn't ask you yesterday. Yes, because the third album,
yeah,
you made a very special way to make that album cover, because the fans voted for that record cover. You remember that?
Yeah. I can't remember if it was like it was sort of a vote. We had one where it was kind of like a simple black cover. That's the one that ended up being on the cover. Yes. And then there was one where we actually tried to I'm gonna forget his name now, and that's terrible. We tried to work with this awesome up and coming special effects photographer, and we came up with this really cool
it's very
looking
post-apocalyptic. You're walking and there's that cover is amazing.
I mean, it's a cool photo shoot, It didn't end up being the cover, and that's fine. It was a cool photo shoot. I think when we got on to the self-titled
I love your
album,
hair that time. I think your hair on that cover is incredible.
Thanks. For a second, I thought you were going to say you love my hair right now.
I also love your hair right now.
Thank you, man. I've got like 40-year-old dad hair now. So we kind of started taking things we kind of started taking ourselves a little bit more seriously when we were planning the release of the self-titled album, and I don't believe that was the right attitude for Simple Plan. I think we get more done, and everything comes across better when we're just like not taking ourselves too seriously and we're just trying to have fun. So I don't know if that was related to the actual album cover and what ended up being chosen, but that's what I had to say about that. Yeah.
All right, but your favorite one is?
My favorite album cover? Probably No Pads, man. That was the first one we did, and the whole storyline's kind of funny. We're crashing a wedding, and then we get caught, and we get beat up by security, and then we're all bummed out, And the storyline there, although, I mean, it's still not getting anyone, like everybody getting older. I mean, I feel like I'm starting to look like the second panel, where we're all just like suburban dads.
Oh my God, so good. My favorite album cover, I think it's the Taking One for the Team. I think I love that aesthetic. I think you're so crazy on that cover.
Yeah, it looks really cool, like all the sports and everybody coming together and winning, and like with the champagne, like it looks really cool.
Thank you so much for coming. Oh my God, that was incredible. They always say that the same on time is always the best. Thank you so much for the opportunity again, for your patience with my English.
My pleasure.
Terrible.
And hopefully we'll see you soon in Brazil.
Oh, that's something that needs to happen, right? I need to, I said, come to Brazil.
I agree. It needs
I'll
to
be
happen.
there. And I'll be there. I'll try a meet and greet.
Perfect. That'd be great.
Do you want to send a message for your Brazilian fans? I think they will love to have something.
Of course. I mean, it's the giant, enormous thank you for all the support, you know, throughout the years. Everybody in Brazil has been very much a part of what Simple Plan is in Brazil these days. I mean, it's your intensity, it's your passion, it's your relentless support that has led us to be in the band that we are today, and we want to thank you for that. And yes, as soon as we know when we're coming to Brazil, we'll let you know.
All right. Thank you for being so incredible. And you know, after this interview, not only me, but a lot of people will have we are fans from the right people. You know, you're the best. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.